What up? What up? What up? It's that time again, time for the pre-market PulseScan with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports that we put in your hand each and every day. Give me just a second. I need a minute. All right, that should do it. Mic test, 1, 2, 3. We should be coming across loud and clear right now at this moment. All right, let's see what else I got here real quick. A little housekeeping stuff. Let's see. I think we're on and popping. Yep. I think we're good. I think we are good. Let's try the screen share right quick, and this will let me know if we are. Oh, okay. Looks good. Yep. All right. I think we're ready to roll, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to roll. All right. So, taking a look here at the pre-markets right now, we got Dow futures down 256 points at 25,769. We got the NASDAQ 100 down 24.5 points at 99.58.5. E-mini S&P 500 down 23.25 points at 30.83 3/4. We got the Russell down 16 at 14.09 even. Bitcoin futures composite index up 125 bucks at 9,450. Nat gas is down 2 cents at $1.61. We got crude oil off a nickel at $38.15 a barrel. Long bond is up 1 full point in 3/30 seconds, trading at 177 and 8/30 seconds. We got gold futures down $2.02 at $1,733.50 an ounce. Silver futures right now are off 15 cents, trading at $17.62 an ounce. US dollar index is up 11 pips, trading at 97.27. We got the euro dollar off 4 pips at 112.50. Pound sterling down 102 pips at 124.44. We got the Aussie dollar down 33 pips at 68.58. Canadian dollar is up 14 pips at 135.76. And the euro yen is off 32 pips at 119.88. And the dollar yen is off 21 pips at 106.77. Kiwi is off 16 pips at 64.42. Switching over to food, we got soybeans up 1.5 at 8.72 3/4. Corn is up 1.5 at 3.31 3/4, and wheat up 1 3/4 at 4.90.5. So trading well below that $5 threshold in that wheat. What do we have to think for that? That is a really good question. What seems to be the problemo? Well, for one thing, wheat is in a bear market and is pulse waving negative. As far as soybeans are in a bull market and pulse waving positive. Corn is in the Kumo cloud of death, confusion, and consolidation. However, it's pulse waving positive, but with a negative, and I repeat, negative momentum. So that's kind of keeping that one at bay, not letting it rock. All right, what do we have to say for the forex? Let's take a look. All right, so as it stands, the only one that we have in the Kumo cloud on the forex side is the Japanese yen. It's in the Kumo cloud, but it's pulse waving negative and doing so with bearish weekly trend momentum. So that one is looking like it's doing what it's supposed to do. We also have, it's just, the markets are really just kind of mixed right now. Not a whole lot of rally or crash alerts to speak of, but we do got a couple. South African Rand started today with a crash alert. So did the Dow Jones futures and the E-mini S&P 500 futures. So those have crash alerts. Russell has a crash alert. And that does it for that. All right, so moving right along. Let's peep some of this overnight news and see what's up. All right, what up, Crypto Dino in the live chat? What up, everybody? Smash that like button for me. A lot of news, man. A lot of news, but the news is all over the place. It's not like it's in a particular flow. So we'll just jump into it. Overnight market news first. All right, let's peep this. All right, the Bank of England has announced $125 billion in new monetary stimulus as the UK fights the coronavirus. The central bank said it voted unanimously to maintain its bank rate at 0.1% at its monetary policy meeting held on Wednesday. Legendary investor Jeremy Grantham says the stock market right now is in the fourth real McCoy bubble of his career. Grantham said the strong rebound in U.S. stocks may be the fourth and most crazy major market bubble in his long career. No kidding. Wall Street giants, including the CEOs of Goldman and Blackstone, are pouring money into the campaign to defeat AOC in a June primary. Executives at Blackstone and Goldman Sachs are some of the big players that have donated to challenger Michelle Caruso Cabrera's campaign. All right, so basically what they're telling you then is that the CEO of Goldman and Blackstone are communist. All right, we've already established that the Democratic Party, the Ku Klux Klan, the Communist Party, all of that is under the same umbrella. So they're just letting you know that they are backing the communistic regime, which wants to bring socialism to the USA full blown. And we know the truth of that is it's not. It's going to be a totalitarian regime, which is what they're trying to set up. And that's why they want to overthrow Donald Trump, because he has been fighting against that. All right. Don't confuse day traders with serious investors. Warren Buffett and Howard Marks will win over time, Princeton economist says. Legions of new day traders have poured new money into stocks without a care for the risks involved. Of course, they have to say that to defend their poor decision making. All right. See, they're still trying to operate under the old guard, not understanding that the shadow government figures are working against them. There's a lot of infighting going on. I first exposed the infighting, between the shadow players back in 2013. I exposed that on live on the air on the Wide Awake show with the late great Charlie McGrath, and I exposed the severe infighting that was going on that was unknown to the masses at that time, and it's only been getting worse in these last 7 years. Scooter giant Lime didn't disclose a breaking issue that resulted in people breaking bones and damaging their teeth. The safety flaw resulted in scooters stopping suddenly, causing injuries. So they knew about this, that they didn't disclose. So they knew they had an issue, but they were facing pressure, more than likely by their investors who wanted to get the stuff out. They wanted to see a return on their money. And like many other corruption cases, when you're dealing with corporations, this is just one of many. They'll put out flawed products to the masses, and darn the results. They're hoping that they make so much money that they'll be able to set aside a war chest so that they can pay out all the damages and to pay out all the fees and fines levied to them by various government agencies. And then they get to walk away still with a big, big golden parachute. And that's just how they operate. It's all about money, not about products, you know? And it's never really been about products. It's always been about money. If it was ever about the quality of product, can you imagine what the world would be like if every Fortune 500 company decided, darn profits, let's build the best mousetrap. Let's build the best product, all right, on the planet. And then let's price it competitively. And then let's back it by the most extreme customer service on the planet. Let's have the best extreme customer service. We are talking with the most polite people who are ready to bend over backwards to please the customer. What would the world look like if that happened? It'll be a much different world than what we're living in right now. And it would be so many different changes, you wouldn't even be able to recognize the two realities, because it would be focused on product instead of making products that break down over a very short time frame. They would be making products that would not do that. You would not have what is called planned obsolescence. All right, planned obsolescence is, and you know, the reason why they make things like that so you can keep coming back to them, because, oh, we have a new product now. And it used to mean something at one point. There was a brief time in history where the planned obsolescence was actually a good thing because they were always innovating and coming out with new technology and new products better than the previous ones. But at some point that stopped. At some point, it started being more about the money. And the planned obsolescence, they sped it up. And what they would do is they'll say, okay, well, we'll just change the color. Or we'll add a non-significant button that wasn't there before. Change the design just slightly and then charge you even more for it and claim that the product is better than it was before. All right. And it's really sad. Corporations started being built on fraud and misrepresentation. And that's been a sad trend for the past several decades, where it's not about, you know, let's just have the best product and then whatever. Nope. Now it's about giving you less for your money and charging you more for the privilege of them giving you less. And when I say less, that means less quantity and less in quality. And the plan's obsolescence has been sped up. So let's just say arbitrarily it used to be 4 to 5 years. Now they made that like 6 months, maybe to 2 years. All right. Even if they don't have a new product line to replace that one with, doesn't matter. The whole business model now is about get in, get as much money as you can, and then get out. It's a churn them and burn them approach to product development. And that's where we are right now, a churn them and burn them. Come out with a cool product, make as much money as you can from it, and then move on. And hope that you made enough money to handle and settle all the lawsuits from the people that will get sick, that will die, they'll be maimed, or what have you. Think about it. Do you think that companies don't know that their cell phone is going to explode in your hand when you use it? Okay. Do you think they don't know that? Do you think that they are ignorant to these things? Do you think they don't know that if you get into a minor traffic accident that the car will explode and set on fire? You think they don't know that? Of course they do. Of course they do. But they still put it out there anyway. Again, the idea is, let's just see what happens. Maybe this won't happen. Or maybe it won't be that bad. Or maybe we'll be able to beat it and get around it when it does come out. It's just really ridiculous that we live in a lying society. Just about every corporation is based on lies and deception. Ever since they realized that they could create something called fine print, that's where you've had the problem. And then to add to that, law firms realized that they could make more money too and get more billable hours by designing certain legalese and certain documents. And then the government gets involved and throws all these hurdles at companies, all these stupid things that you have to do that have nothing to do with product safety or anything. It's just ridiculous things. And then that adds to the cost. And then that kind of like keeps the whole underachievement going. Everything the government touches, it destroys. U.S. Chamber urges China to accelerate purchases of U.S. goods. Why do you think that is? The Chamber said the pandemic had clearly slowed progress for both governments, but there were reasons to be hopeful. Again, the U.S. Chamber urges China to accelerate purchases of U.S. goods. We urge you to buy this right now. Yeah, because the U.S. is hurting. You know, they talk really big, but then behind the scenes, they're like, look, man, we know we had to do that for the cameras, but can you please buy something from us? Wirecard shares tumble 65% after the payments processor says it is unable to trace $2 billion worth of cash. Wirecard, which was listed on Germany's benchmark index DAX 2 years ago, said there were indications that a third party had tried to deceive the auditor. Of course, blame it on the third party. Our earnings released today. National Grid and Kroger are highlights. Remember the Kroger analysis we did last night. On the economic front, continuing jobless claims came out at 8:30 this morning, Eastern Standard Time. Philadelphia Fed manufacturing survey and the 4-week bill auction are due for release. All right, so that's that. We have a new commercial, but I can't play it on here. Give me a moment, though, and we need to take a quick commercial break. Give me like 2 seconds, and I'll be right back. And we're back. All right, so I got to figure out how to do that because I have a incredible commercial that Frank put together, and it's a sad thing that I cannot figure out how to make it work on here. Let me see. I'm gonna figure it out though. Believe me, I will figure it out. But for now, when we gotta do commercial breaks, it's just silence. I want to be able to play this incredible commercial that Frank put together. And for those that don't know, this is Bitcoin week. Last week was supposed to really be Bitcoin week, but we had some issues. And we got a couple this week, so we may end up extending Bitcoin week one additional week. We shall see. So if you go to PulseWaveTrading.com, you will see that there. Just want to throw that out there. All right, let's get into some more market news here. Okay, so we got almost 46 million Americans have now filed for unemployment claims since the lockdowns began. You heard me right. 46 million Americans filing for unemployment. All right, and there's the opening bell for those that need to handle some business. There you go. All right, despite the hope restoring non-farms payroll recovery and the overhyped bounce in retail sales, ignoring the lack of a V-shaped recovery in industrial production, in the last week, 1.508 million more Americans filed for unemployment benefits for the first time, notably worse than the 1.29 million expected. That brings the 13th week total to 45.7 million people filing for unemployment benefits, which is dramatically more than at any period in American history. However, as the charts indicate, the second derivative has turned the corner, even though the 1.508 million rise this last week is still higher than any other week in history outside of the pandemic. Continuing claims did drop very modestly, but hardly a signal that reopening is occurring, and definitely not confirming the payrolls data. Now, Texas and Nevada showed the worst deterioration in labor market as Florida and Oklahoma showed the best improvement in claims last week. And as noted previously, the most disturbing thing is that the last 13 weeks, more than twice as many Americans have filed for unemployment than jobs gained during the last decade since the end of the Great Recession. 22.13 million jobs gained in a decade versus 45.714 million jobs lost in the past 13 weeks. Ouch, that's like double. Worse still. Oh, there's more. There's you can get worse than that. The final numbers will likely be worsened due to the bailout itself. As a reminder, the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security CARES Act, passed on March the 27th, could contribute to new records being reached in coming weeks, as it increases eligibility for jobless claims to self-employed people and gig workers, extends the maximum number of weeks that one can receive benefits, and provides an additional $600 per week until July 31st. So the big question is, what's going to happen after July 31st? All right, what up, everybody in the live chat? I see people slowly coming in. What up, Dargill and Kyle? What up, Faustino and V-Dub and Alan and Patricia? What up, everybody? Smash that like button. You know what it is. You know what we do. All right. A recent Wall Street Journal article noted that this has created incentives for some businesses to temporarily furlough their employees, knowing that they will be covered financially as the economy is shut down. Meanwhile, those making below $50,000 a year will generally be made whole and possibly be better off on unemployment benefits. Additionally, families receiving food stamps can typically get a maximum benefit of $768, but through the increase in emergency benefits, The average 5-person household can get an additional $240 monthly for buying food. But hey, there's good news. Stocks are near record highs, and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said he anticipates most of the economy will restart by the end of August. Finally, it is notable we have lost 388 jobs for every confirmed U.S. death from COVID-19. Was it worth it? The big question remains, what happens when the $600 CARES Act bonuses stop flowing? You know, that is a very good question. What is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? Does anybody have an answer to that question? I mean, it does sound a little sketchy at this point. Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because there's so many good things out there. You got people that want to push all this good stuff to happen. And we're going to get into all of it because it's crazy time up in here, man. Crazy time. So do we have more turbulence ahead? Some would say, yeah. $2 trillion in June. Massive $76 billion in pensions. Selling. Oh, boy. With market liquidity stubbornly stuck near all-time lows, which permits retail trades to have such an outsized impact on the broader market, the next 2 weeks promise to be volatile for stocks for two reasons. First, there's a rather massive option expiration set for this Friday with some caveats. And then for a quarter end, we are facing what appears to be one of the biggest pension fund dumps in history. Starting with this Friday's OPEX, Goldman's Iraqi fisherman writes that from a purely headline perspective, excuse me, June's expiration is massive, with $1.8 trillion in SPX options expiring on the 19th. Yo, that is a massive amount. SPX options are for the big boys. That's where the big boys and girls play. All right, if you got 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 large that you can just throw in an SPX option, then be my guest and have at it. But that's where the big boys play. That's that big money. SPX options are no joke. All right, no joke. Go have fun. Have at it. Making it the third largest non-December expiration on record. Wow. In addition to $230 billion of SPY options and $250 billion of options on SPX and SPX E-mini futures. That said, as a result of the strike distribution heading into Friday, the gross gamma exposure is relatively modest. For a comprehensive primer on that, you can always go to all you've ever wanted to know about gamma, OPEX, and option-driven liquidity flows. I will drop a link for you in the description. All right, here you go. Bam. All right, according to Goldman, the $80 billion of gross SPX gamma is relatively small, fourth in percentage versus the past 3 years. Because most of the expiration June SPX options are far away from the current index level, meaning that they're out of the money, as a result of the sharp move in the market over the past quarter. Furthermore, June has the smallest amount of expiring open interest, with 10% of spot of any recent quarter maturity. Also of note, most of June's open interest is well below the current spot level. Okay. Peak strike concentration is in the 2,800 to 2,900 range. All right. So that is interesting for it to be below the spot. That means these are the in the money ones. Okay. A more granular look at the composition of the OPEX amid the recent strong call volume, June has a higher percentage of calls than a typical expiration, according to Goldman, who points out that the call option volume has strengthened in both index and single stock markets over the last few years. over the last few days rallied. The sharply declining SPX skew indicates that investors are primarily buying calls, something we discussed last week when we showed the tremendous surge in retail call buying. The June open interest is 43% higher than the 35 to 40% that is typical, but most of the elevated call activity is in the form of in-the-money calls. After investors had chased the rally by buying calls and sold calls to fund protection in the last few months. The biggest wild card, according to Goldman, is the concentration in ultra short-term momentum chasing. As a result of the aggressive momentum chasing, soon to expire option volume has exploded. Over the course of Q2 2020, there has been an acceleration of final day trading of SPX options that expire every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Most such expirations had over $100 billion of notional trade on their final day, making them a potentially large but a hard to track source of gamma. The bottom line is that while we are facing a near record $1.8 trillion in option expiration in 2 days, it is not immediately clear if this alone will have a material move on the market in the immediately preceding period, and also whether the impact will be bullish or bearish. Again, going to what I've been teaching you guys for a long time, it doesn't matter if you know what the news is or what the report is going to say. What matters is what the market's reaction is going to be to it. All right, so the bottom line is that we are facing a near record $1.8 trillion in option expiration in 2 days. It is not immediately clear that this alone will have a material move in the market in the immediate preceding period, and also whether this impact would be bullish or bearish. One thing we do know for certain, however, is that pension selling will be substantial. As a result of the outperformance of stocks over bonds this quarter, indeed, according to Goldman, as of the close on Tuesday, the desk's theoretical model estimates a net $76 billion of equities to sell, the third largest estimate on record, only behind March 2020 and December 2018, both of which happen to be extremely volatile periods. All right, on a historical note, it wasn't options, but it was actual stocks. There was like $5 billion in stocks that needed to be sold on the close back during the 2008 situation. I will never forget that. That one act caused the Dow to drop more than 700 points after the close. So what do you think 1.8 trillion is going to do? All right, one thing that the article did not cover, which needs to be talked about, needs to be covered, is that, remember, options are designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to expire worthless. All right, the seller of the option is taking the bet that the option that is being sold to you is going to be expiring, what we call in the business cabinet. All right, worthless. All right, that is the game of options. They don't last forever. They're designed for short term. Even though you can buy leaps that go out to 2 years, they're designed for short term. All right, and they're designed to expire worthless. The market likes to hurt as many people as it can. All right. So therefore, if everyone right now is having a net long position, you better believe the market's going to make sure it pulls itself back as far as it can to hurt as many call holders as it can so that those options can expire worthless. Now, keep in mind, if the market settles at your strike price, right, you're still not making maximum money. You still basically is going to have it expire worthless. It needs to be in the money for you to really start seeing the proceeds of your option. Just settling at your price, it's not going to do too much for you. You want to really see the market settle in the money. So if you got a 3,100 S&P option, call option, you don't want to see the market settle at 3,100. You want to see the market settle maybe 3,120, 3,150. That's what you want to see, not 3,100. 3,100 is not maximum money. That's pretty much break even for you. You want it to expire in the money, not at the money and not below. You don't want the market settling at 30.90 or 30.80. You don't want that because your option is going to expire worthless. You want it to be in the money. All right. Now, a person is holding a 3,000 S&P call, mad deep in the money. All right. They don't care if it settles at 3,100 or 30.80. They good. Their option is settling in the money. All right. So they okay with that. But you guys who bought out of the money calls, you need the market to settle, above your strike price at expiration, or you lose. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the market behaves, because right now as we speak, all right, the E-mini S&P 500 is below 3,100 right now. It's trading at 30.94 3/4. So if today was Friday, people will be praying right now. There'll be vigils all over the United States. People praying, lighting candles. Please settle above 3,100. Can I at least get a 3,104 out of you? Funny how things play themselves out at times. All right. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to be all over the place today, but hey, that's what we do here. Oxford is in the news today. Okay. Oxford says, their experts say, you know what? There's really no scientific evidence for COVID 2-meter rule. They're saying there's no scientific evidence. Okay, let's see here. While other countries and societies are getting back to life as normal, in Britain, the social distancing folly continues. For whatever reason, UK government officials seem desperate to cling to the crisis and impose new restrictions every week, which are only really effective at one thing: hampering business and trade. Prime Minister Boris Johnson remains confused on the issue and for some reason can't seem to fully let go of the sacred 2-meter rule. It's become a farce of historic proportions. As a general rule, the government has resisted any demands by businesses to reduce the government's arbitrary limit from 2 meters to 1 meter. This would have greatly helped businesses to avoid expensive health and safety compliance and reopen this summer. See, that's what we're talking about when we first started the broadcast. This is what also keeps businesses operating the way they do, making their planned obsolescence shorter, pushing products that may have defective qualities about them. All right, so it's not as good as it could be if they just had a little bit more time to work on it. So they have less time to bring product to market. It's the same thing that I mentioned it was happening in the video game industry. The game is full of bugs and glitches. You don't give a darn. Make that thing go to market, let it launch on the date you said it was going to launch. Let's get this money. And you're hoping that enough people will buy it where it will not hurt you to offer overtime to your programmers to go ahead and create a patch, same day patch, or at least within the first week, so that you can deal with those issues. It's a weird kind of a dance, but you got the government to thank for that, because they make things more expensive for companies to operate. All right, with all these health and safety compliance issues. While the government and its science team dither back and forth, the economy continues to crater and unemployment is spiraling. Meanwhile, scientists from the vaunted committee of experts known as the SAGE, which is the Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies, are busy issuing warnings to ministers that the public will need to wear masks and also minimize their time together if they sit closer than 2 meters apart. It's already well known by now, according to the real data and the experience of European countries, that the virus was seasonal and has already left the building, and that the only demographic who were ever at any serious risk were elderly persons with chronic comorbidities, and more specifically, those residing in care homes. Okay, let's stop right now. See. Remember what I said, guys. You can't stop truth. Truth is still going to come out. You can try to build walls around it to keep people from it, but eventually somebody's going to figure out a way to scale that wall and get to that truth. All right? It's going to get there one way or another. And this is what it is right here in your face, right here. This is coming from the scientific community. They're saying that this was seasonal. All right, number one. And they said the only demographic that was ever at serious risks were elderly people with chronic comorbidities, and specifically those residing in care homes. You shut down the entire world's economy for a seasonal allergy. What in the... See what I'm saying? This right here is the fraggernacle I'm talking about. What in the world is everyone? Has everyone lost their minds? Is everyone dumb, stupid, and incompetent all of a sudden? Is there some kind of incompetent juice that people were drinking? I cannot believe that they just called this thing seasonal. Further evidence that this thing was planned months, if not years in advance. Years in advance. And it is also pointing to the fact that this was a coordinated effort. That's why they rolled it out during the flu season. Because anyone that caught the flu, they could say, coronavirus, there you go. This person has coronavirus. What a perfectly planned operation. I think the people involved should probably get Oscars for their acting skills and their planning skills. Like I said, those that are in power tend to want to stay in power and are usually prepared to do whatever it takes to remain in power. Right now, what you are seeing, what you are witnessing is exactly that. Think of the amount of planning that went into this. Think of how clever that was to release a weaponized version of a flu virus during flu season. I mean, how diabolical of a mind has to be in operation to carry something like that out, and then coordinate it effortlessly with every country on the planet. Every country, every jurisdiction, every state, every municipality unanimously moved as one government. You just got a real ugly snapshot of the one world government. You saw every nation of earth move in harmony. You didn't hear about any skirmishes or war or nothing going on. It's like it was a ceasefire because of COVID. How planned and coordinated do you have to be to pull off something like that? And then say, oh, look at all these deaths, look at all these people. It's all from the flu. How brilliant. Who was behind this? Dr. Claw? Skeletor? Who was behind this? What to pull this off? I mean, I'll have to admit, after 9/11, I didn't think they would ever be able to pull off anything so vast like that, so technical, with so many moving parts. But I have to say, I am flabbergasted. I am awestruck at how coordinated this was. I mean, come on, just have y'all ever just sat back and just thought about how this whole thing went down? Now, I've been having doctor's visits and stuff come up, so I've been able to see and compare things. Remember, I told you guys a few live streams ago, I said, you know, last summer, I remember going to the hospital, and I remember one day I saw these metal detectors and a whole bunch of other things that were all placed throughout the hospital. And I was like, what in the world's going on? I asked people, they was like, most people was like, I don't know. I don't know if they were lying or not, but it was like, I'm not sure. And then the following day, all the stuff was gone and you'd never seen or heard about it again. Now, all of a sudden, we got COVID, we got lockdowns, and when they reopen and you go back, you see the metal detectors that you saw a year ago. You see all these signs, and you see all these things on the floor telling you where to go and where to stand, and then you see all these new signages. I even seen the street looking different. I seen markers on the street, meaning the street had to have been paved at some point. And I was just on that street, and I didn't see that a week ago or a month ago. What in the world, right? Now, here's the funny part. Anyone who knows about how committees work, who knows anything about how local governments work, who knows anything about how corporations work, there's a culture, there is a bureaucracy, there's a check and balance system, and there are different departments, and then people have to decide, they have to vote, they got to present proposals, and they got to figure out cost, and then they got to figure out who's going to do what, who are they going to contract or hire to do this or to do that. And then when you're talking about the higher departments within government, you're talking about security clearances, and only certain businesses that are on the government's they have a computer system of businesses that are set up and ready to go to contract with the government, especially in sensitive areas and things like that. So you have all these different bureaucracies and checks and balances. Have you wondered how in the world, when COVID just came out just this year, how did all this stuff pop up overnight? I thought the world was shut down. I thought the economies were literally shut down. I thought people were threatened with violence and jail if they went outside. I thought the schools were shut down. I thought most businesses were shut down. I thought the non-essential government departments were also shut down. I thought nothing was moving. I thought nothing was moving. So how is it all of a sudden I go to the hospital yesterday and I seen basically a new looking hospital. They had signages and stickers and all types of stuff. And even the streets was different leading up to the hospital, where all the doctor's offices and stuff are. I mean, I'm like, all types of signages and stuff. And then you seen all these, if you go to the grocery stores, you see the plexiglass, and you see signages there, and you see all types of, not flyers. I'm talking about signage, like billboards and, specialized stuff that you just can't go home and say, oh, I have a printer at home, I'll print out some stuff. No, it's not that. We're talking commercial quality stuff. So who designed, how did you get this done so fast? You can't even get your local municipality to even meet to vote on certain issues except for certain times of the year. How in the world did you do that? Now, my wife said, hey, but don't forget, you got emergency powers. People just say, okay, we're going to put aside normal bureaucracy and just get something done. I understand that. I accept that. But we got a problem still. You still got to go through the processes of determining what you're going to do, what you're going to spend. That still has to be approved. That still has to be voted on. There's still a bureaucracy. Even if you say, okay, I'm going to remove, like the FDA, whatever. It's like, okay, we're going to remove normal protocols and allow vaccine to get pushed through quicker. That's all well and good, but you still got to go through the processes. You still got to have the right labs, the right scientists, the right data to crunch, and you still got to do the experiments. You still got to do the work to produce any type of a vaccine, even a whack one that don't work. You still got to go. It's still a process in creating it, and that takes what? Time. It takes time. Someone had to decide how big certain signs would be, billboards, what colors, what company you were going to use. We've never been in this situation before. So how do they know where to go to get certain things done if you've never been here before? This never happened. And you are an organization or a business that has nothing to do with such things. How do you know where to go? Someone had to have told you. In other words, what I'm trying to say is the intricacies of all of this had to be planned way in advance. Way in advance. Way in advance. Way in advance. At least a year's worth of planning. At least a year's worth. Minimum. Because I'm just talking about one locality where I'm at. What about where you guys are at? To get all of this stuff coordinated to go up at the same time? Remember the thing I showed y'all, what it was, a week ago? With the social distancing restaurant schematics that they got, new technology? How in the world did that come up? You can't even produce something like that quick. No one can. You got to have plans drawn up. You gotta have patents, and you gotta have copyrights, and you gotta have committee. Then you gotta figure out how much it's gonna cost. You gotta figure out who's gonna manufacture these, and there's a lot that go into that. You just can't do that overnight. Is what I'm trying to say. How did this stuff pop up already? How? It was planned, people. You gotta open your eyes. All of this was planned. All of this, everything that has happened is planned, and it was so diabolical. Like I said, I think, and this is an exposure, it's an expose. I'm about to tell you. I know for a fact what happened, and I know who did it. I know who did it. I know what happened. You're gonna only hear this on PreMarket PulseScan. I have the get down low on who and what was involved in putting this together. Are you ready? I believe that there was a secret meeting, and I have evidence to prove this, that there was a secret meeting between Cobra Commander, Dr. Claw, Skeletor, and Lex Luthor. I believe they got together and they said, look, man, we all been fighting each other, and I think that we can work together as one. And right before he could go to the next word, the door was kicked in, and it was Destro. He was like, yo, how you gonna have a meeting without me? Cobra Commander, you know better. You know how I give it up. And it was like, all right, you got me. So then he sat down at the table. And then here comes another person. Yo, how y'all gonna be meeting and you ain't got me in here? And they look at like, who is that? Oh man, Kingpin, what you doing up in here, man? Hey, I just finished whooping on Spider-Man. Now I'm here. I heard y'all got a meeting. Well, what's up? What's good? Have a seat, man. Have a seat, Kingpin. All right. What's up? What's good? This is what we're gonna do. We have a plan to take over the world, and I know how to do it. And they say, yo, Dr. Claw, you got to do something with that cat, man. You got to get that cat up out of here. You know I'm allergic to cats. So Dr. Claw had to let the cat up out the room, and they sat down and they start thinking about it. And they say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make the world sick, but we're going to make them think that they're sick. How are you going to do that? Well, flu season, everyone gets sick. All we got to do is claim that we have released a viral toxin It's making people sick, and everyone who drops dead will say they're dropping dead because of our chemical that we've released on the world, and then they will bow to us and do whatever we tell them to do because of fear and panic and downright ignorance. That's a splendid idea, Dr. Claw. No wonder you're the most villainous of all. And then everyone else goes around the corner, yeah, whatever. And then Skeletor says, well, I had something to add to that. Skeletor, what you got to say? What you got to add to that? Well, you know how I used to hurt He-Man all the time in just about every episode. What I want to do, what I think we should do too, is we should make it so that we control the scientific community so that they do and act the way we want them to act. And then, of course, you know who's going to say something about that. Boom, the door's kicked in again. I know y'all ain't having a meeting without me up in here. Yo, is that my man Joker? What's up, Joker? What's up? What's up, Monocle? What's up? He said, man, y'all got this all wrong. Y'all going about this all wrong. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You forgot one important piece. And it was like, what we forget, Joker? He said, you know how I used to hem Batman up every episode, right? Well, what you need to do is you need to put a wall around the truth so that people can't get to it. So I think you need to get social media involved. We need to have a special meeting with all of the social media giants, and we need to get them on board, get them on the right page. All right, so that they only will talk about the narrative that we present. Joker, that's a splendid idea. No wonder you're such a villain. And then all of a sudden, another person speaks up in the room. Kingpin says, yo, hold on. Now, you know, I run everything up in here. I am responsible for all crime worldwide. That's my thing. That's what I do. So why don't you let me organize all the different jurisdictions, let me start with the G7, then I can get with the G20. If we could get them involved in the next Bilderberg meeting, then we can get all this stuff on and popping. That's a splendid idea. That is a splendid idea. Yes, let's do that. Okay, let's do it. So then the next Bilderberg meeting, that's how they roll. And so you have all these villains in the room planning all of this out. All right. This is what happened. I'm telling y'all what happened. I'm giving you facts. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. This is what really happened. And look how successful it's been. You got together the most diabolical minds together to make this happen. And then Lex Luthor speaks up and says, excuse me. Ain't none of y'all know what y'all talking about. I am the triple OG in the room. I'm the oldest one in the room. Y'all keep forgetting how on every episode without fail, I hemmed up the Hall of Justice. All right. I owned the Hall of Justice. Let's not forget the one episode where I banished the entire Hall of Justice out of the universe, out of existence. I used my man Toy Maker. He put them on a toy planet in a toy universe located light years away from our universe. Don't forget that. We had them hemmed up and they had no way to get back. Don't forget that. We hemmed them up lovely. Lined them up lovely. So why don't you leave the particulars of this to me? Since I am Lex Luthor, I'm the triple OG in the room. And you know I run the Legion of Doom. So let me do what I do. And y'all just step aside for a minute. And they say, okay, fine, we'll let you do. You did hem up the Hall of Justice all them times. You sure did. All right. So then things start moving forward. They released the virus in China so they could blame China. So that's how they do. Then after they did that, they said, okay, now what we need to do is we need to play on the fact that China can't be trusted because it's a communist country. But see, the people around the world won't know any better. They don't already know that they are in China. They are living in China. They're just not aware of it. We're using the same tactics that we use to keep the Communist Party in power in China as we do with the rest of the world. We have to keep each jurisdiction separate, making them think, ooh, we got democracy. Ooh, we got socialism. Ooh, we got capitalism. Ooh, making them think they have all these things where behind the scenes we control it all and it's all fascism. And then, of course, everyone starts laughing around the table, cracking up. Joker falls out of his seat in laughter. He's grabbing his stomach. He's curled up in the fetal position on the floor, saying, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. He's laughing so hard. All right. This is what's up. This is what's happening. This is what's happening, people. You forget these minds are diabolical, and they have a track record of being almost pristine in their operation. I believe they've been giving tutelage to the powers of the world. All right. I'm just saying, this is what it is. Look at the signage. You don't just create something like that overnight. Designs have to be approved. Designs have to be voted on. Money has to be set aside. Money has to be approved. Money has to be voted on. You don't just put something like this overnight. And notice how everything is together. Doesn't matter where you go. And here's another weird part too, guys. They've been talking about, oh, we're opening up the world and we're letting things go back to normal, stage 1, stage 2, stage whatever. But really, nothing's really opened back up. Now, I heard my man R. Epstein say there's traffic jams up in Chicago, but then he also had to admit that nothing's open. But there are people that are out the house though. So basically, they let the people out to play. They're treating the people like puppies. They say, okay, the lockdown has been lifted. You can go outside. Or better yet, they're treating this more like prison. They say, okay, lockdown is over. Go get your yard time in. Like my man. Oh, man. Go get your yard time in. Lockdown's over. What's his name here on YouTube? Big Hurt. Big Hurt. I like how he does his video like that. He ends it like that. He goes, yard time's over. He said, lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Yeah, that's exactly how they're treating it. Because even though you can go outside, you really can't go nowhere. Does that make sense? Where you really going? You got millions of small companies that are definitely going belly up. And then you even got your larger companies that are going belly up. And then the stores that are open, they aren't really open, but they're open. But they're not open. Like case in point, if I want to buy something at Best Buy, I got to pay for it online first, then drive up to the store. Don't get out your car, though. Sit right in your car. Someone will come to you, go inside the store for you, grab the product that you paid for, and bring it outside to you. Or if you're not sure what it is that you need to want, you can just drive on up. Then someone will come to your car with your mask on. They got a mask on. You tell them what you want. Give them your credit card. They'll go in there, find it for you, swipe your card, give everything back to you. They're doing all of that, but you can't go in the store. All right? They're doing all of that, but you can't go in the store. Okay? Same thing with eating out. Yeah, you got it, Sling. You got it. Yeah. No calls. Use the app. Can't order food on the phone. You got to use the app. Everything's the app. Everything's the app. Now, let me tell you the biggest pain in the neck, though. The biggest pain in the neck is Amazon. So I play something for Amazon. They send me the wrong product, a product I didn't even ask for. And you can't send it back. It's a non-returnable item. I don't want the refund. I want what I asked for. Pick up the phone, call Amazon. Oh, by the way, ain't nobody in the office. Sorry, lockdown, COVID-19. Please go to the website. So, okay, fine. I'll see if I can live chat with someone. Oops, can't do that either. Here's a robot chat thing, but really all it is the help section put into a chat, making you think you're really talking to someone that's really helping you. No, what I need in this situation is a refund, and I need to be made whole. Second scenario, sent you the wrong thing. Historically, you send back the wrong thing, right? And then they restock it, and then they'll issue out the real one. But in some cases, they say, now we got to charge you a restocking fee if you send something back. Normally, like let's say I order something, I don't like it when it gets here to me. It's not the wrong item. It's exactly what I ordered, but I realized, I don't need it. I don't want them. Send it back. They'll charge a restocking fee for that. So what do you do when you send something back? You don't want to be charged a restocking fee because it's not your fault. They sent you the wrong item and you need the right item to be sent to you. There's nothing on. Have you ever tried perusing Amazon's website? What a waste of time. It's ridiculous. You can't get a person on the phone. No one's there. No returns. You can't do no returns, period. You can't get a person on the phone. How are you supposed to get a refund? You see what I'm saying? It's just this is ridiculous. I warned you guys, though. I warned you guys years ago. I said, you ain't going to like the new system. This is a taste of what the control grid is going to be like. You can't go nowhere. You can't do nothing. You can't buy nothing. You can't sell nothing. You can't do nothing. You are a prisoner in your own house. You're a prisoner in your own city. You're a prisoner in your own county. You're a prisoner in your own state. And you're a prisoner in your own country. You can't go nowhere. They won't let you go nowhere. Oh, and by the way, you ain't just walking up in the hospital. You ain't just walking up in there in the ER. Oh, no, you got an emergency? Okay, that's fine. You can drop the person off at the front door. People will come and get him, put him inside. But you got to still go park your car. You still got to then from there walk from the parking garage to the emergency room. And when you go to the emergency room, oh, by the way, you're not just going up in there. No, there is a reception area with a metal detector and a police officer, not a guard, but a police officer with arresting authority, with a gun, for Glock. All right. You got to be wanded down. You got to go through the metal detector. You gotta stand 6 feet away and talk to the person behind the counter. But as a matter of fact, you know, HIPAA is out the window, and I ain't no HIPAA. Because you gotta stand 6 feet away and yell at them through the plexiglass all of your information. Who are you? What's your name? Is your number the same? Is this address the same? And everyone can listen. What brings you here today? They get to hear all of that. Under the old way, HIPAA was very private. You go and you sit down like in a little booth, a little quiet booth. No one can hear or see what's being said. Not anymore. Everything's wide open. So what brings you to the ER today? Well, you know, ma'am, I'm having explosive diarrhea. Everyone can hear you and see what you're saying. Total embarrassment. Like they've taken a play out of Living Color episode. Remember that? When Kimberly Wayans played the pharmacy tech, and every time someone she would go next, you come up to the counter, and she would scream and yell out all your personal information. Okay, go have a seat, and we'll call you when it's ready. Okay, is the guy here with the explosive diarrhea? Your prescription's ready. Come get it. So-and-so that has crabs. Your crab cream is here. The one with the crabs. Who has crabs? You can come get your cream now. The young lady with the leakage problem. The one with the leakage. You can come here. You got leakage. Here's your leakage prescription. I'm not playing. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. You don't want nobody to know what you in the pharmacy for. You don't want nobody to know what you came to the doctor for. Oh, and check this out. When you go through now, when you go through, like, all right, with the ER, right? You go through the ER, all right, you got to talk to her 6 feet away. She got a mask on. You got a mask on. So your mouth, your volume is already muffled. Then you got to talk to them through your mask, through their mask, and through plexiglass. And you got people around listening to everything you're saying. Here's my full name. Here's my address. Matter of fact, here's my social security number. Here's everything about me, and here is the pin to my debit card, so you can just go ahead and rob me. Everybody out here in the audience who's sitting, listening, who happens to be a hacker. It's basically what's going on. What in the Fraggle Rock is going on? Okay. Now, then they take your temperature. Can't just roll up in there. Nope. Got to take your temperature. So you have this firewall, or like they used to say back in Comcast before things got more technical, you stuck in wall garden, All my Comcast technicians out there know what that is. You stuck in wall garden, can't get out of wall garden. All right, before you can even get out, you bleeding. Yo, I'm bleeding. I need to be seen immediately. You see my arm. I'm carrying my left arm in my right hand. It's detached from my body. Blood is squirting everywhere, and you making me go through this. I still gotta go through the metal detector. You still gonna wind me down. You still gonna take my temperature, but meanwhile, I'm holding my left arm in my right hand. It's detached from my body. Can I get some treatment, please? Now, if you want to go to be seen by the doctor, or you got some lab work at the hospital, okay, that's a different story. You're not going to the ER bureaucracy. Now you got to go to the hospital bureaucracy. So here's how this works. You pull up into the parking lot. You got to tell the attendant what you're there for. You got an appointment. You're going to visit someone, whatever, right? You're here for some kind of whatever, test, whatever. You got to stay in your car. Don't go park nowhere. The thing is still down. You're still here. You're entering the parking garage, with the thing down. You can't just drive through. Even if you say, "Oh, I'm not talking to nobody, I'm just going to drive through," you can't, because they got the thing down. You can't drive through that. All right. You got to pick up the phone and make a phone call. You got to call a number and register right there in your car, right there in the parking garage before you even get into the garage, right there at the gate of the garage. Call a number, go through all of that. Then you can go and you can get the parking. Then when you're ready to be seen, or you stay in your car after you park, they will call you and tell you can come on to see the doctor now. Ain't no waiting in the waiting room. You waiting in your car. Oh, and peep this. In the waiting room now, to keep with the mandate of social distancing, the chairs have do not set signs on them. You can't sit in these chairs. You got to sit in the chair that doesn't have a no setting sign on it, because you got to do the social distancing. So if a waiting room could have held traditionally, let's say 20 or 30 people, you may only have maybe 6 people in the waiting room at any time now. All right. This is the Fraggle Rock that's going on right now. All right. So if you have leakage or explosive diarrhea or crabs or some other issue, don't expect any privacy when you go to the pharmacy, because you're talking to them through plexiglass. You're talking through a mask. They're talking to a mask. I can't hear you. Can you speak louder? No, I don't want to speak louder. That's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to speak louder. If anything, can I just write it down and give it to you? How about that? Can I text it to you? You and me phone to phone or something? Goodness. Good grief. You see what I'm saying, folks? It's no longer privacy. It's gone. HIPAA is gone. There is no HIPAA. It's gone. It's out the window. Peace out. It rolled out. And your personal your personal privacy rolled out with it. So this is where we are right now. And it's sad. I wouldn't have believed it until I saw and experienced it myself. I would not have been able to know that. And it's sad that I do. Now, I'm going to say this, though. I don't see how anyone would be willing. You guys are probably braver than me, but I'm not eating out nowhere, because I know for a fact before COVID, people would let people come to work coughing and sneezing, and they're supposed to be making your food. Really? Y'all remember me telling you throughout the years all the times I went to the grocery store and people would turn the corner and cough right in my face? I want to punch one dude right in his face when he did that. Seriously. But I realized, I was like, you know what? If I do that, I'm a man of color. I'll be the one to get locked up. He won't. He get to go home. Because he white. Remember, we live in a racist society according to Black Lives Matter. Everybody's racist. If you're white and I'm black, you're racist. And you got to get on your knees and beg my forgiveness, because your ancestors may or may not have enslaved my ancestors. And truth be told, I think it was the other way around. I think my ancestors actually enslaved yours, but that's another discussion. And there we go. All right, this is just crazy. I cannot believe we have woken up to such a brave new world, and people are begging, begging, begging for more of it to come. Yo, CO, you are bugging in the chat. In the grocery store and the restaurant, the workers kept pulling on their masks because they can't breathe. Oh my goodness, I can't breathe. Wow. Wow. You're right. Sling said, yeah, that's the real I can't breathe now. Yep. Crazy, y'all. This is what we doing now though. This is what we doing. This is crazy, man. Look, man, it's all about control and fear. This election's coming up and they don't know what they want to do. Now, I hope you guys watched the video in its entirety when I put the link in for you the other day, because I think the young man did a wonderful job exposing the Communist Party, the Democratic Party, the Ku Klux Klan, all of the Masonic, Luciferian Satanists. I think he did an excellent job bringing all that together. Everything I've ever been saying on this program since day one, but I'm glad he had the time to put all that together and bring it forth. Because it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the world we are living in. You may not like it, you may not agree, but you still got to deal with the facts. You still got to deal with the truth. All right, you still got to do it. All right, it is what it is. Why do you think the markets are pausing and not doing nothing right now? At this moment while we're talking, there's like no money on the table. I think I have seen Belly of the Beast. I think I have seen it. I don't know. I've seen so many movies I can't keep track. What is it about? Give me the gist of it. Who's in it, and I can tell you if I saw it or not. Just by name, I can't tell you. My mom, who's passed away now, she was a big horror movie buff, and she and I would sit down. We've watched probably every horror movie that was ever created. We got to the point where we'd seen all the big blockbusters and stuff. So then we started watching B and D and E and F rated movies with low budgets, so we've seen it all. So I've seen so many movies, I can't tell you what I've seen. I can only go by the ones I remember. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've seen it or not. But I'm still playing catch up. I still got a few more things to look at. And then I'll let you know on those too. But yeah, we are in perilous times, man. We're in perilous times. And right now, when you start seeing the markets fluctuate like they've been doing, like trading in these narrow ranges, just remember what I showed you in the end of day reports is because of how the markets have situated themselves. And this is a limited thing. It's not going to just do this, forever. It's just for a couple of days. And it is going to be what it's going to be. Yeah, Thunderbird. I know what you're saying, but it's more so I think they try to hijack those organizations to to push their own nefarious means, just like he said in the video. Again, you can't deny history. When you look at history, it is what it is. People try to revise history, but at the end of the day, it is about truth. Let me see what else we got. All right, no, that's neither here nor there. Okay, here's a good one. Okay. All right, in the United States, questioning liberal economic ideology is not tolerated. So when the latest inevitable economic bust in capitalism occurs, it is a little wonder that their society talks about everything except economic ideology. They spend their time inventing and discussing non-economic solutions to economic catastrophes, which is precisely how their fundamental weakness and inequalities only get worse and worse. Now we're talking about the murder of George Floyd, police brutality, and white supremacy. These are old but still important issues. But there are also certainly issues which will not lead to systematically redistributing one penny towards governmentally abandoned African American areas. The fall of the USSR and the triumphant parades led by banners bearing Tina, meaning there is no alternative to neoliberalism or neo-imperialism, encouraged Americans to throw away their textbooks on the dismal science of economics. Yay, they said, Marx might have been interesting in his day, but it's all over now. Get with the times. It's the economy, stupid. But seriously, don't open questions liberal economic ideology. For those of us following the data, it has become quite clear everything bubble 2 is a great pick-saving handle to describe the 2020 Western economy. But it gives the wrong impression that what's going on is just a repeat of 2008 when everything bubble 1 popped. It's actually much worse. Nobody expected everything bubble 2 to be popped by something as economically suicidal as a great lockdown. But we now have no choice but to add the effects of the two together. We just cannot say that this is like 2008 or 2001 or 1929 or any other era. But in the US, you can't say anything about ideological economic direction, of course. This leads us to two realizations about their society, which are now obvious to all. Number one, by abandoning economic ideological debate, for 3 decades, Americans can only politically snipe each other to death in 2020 because they simply cannot intelligently discuss economics, much to the glee of the 1%. Again, Skeletor is laughing along with Dr. Claw. They're laughing at you. They even brought Boba Fett in the room. He's laughing at you because you're being robbed. Second, by censoring ideological debate, the U.S. is unable to devise new solutions to the latest capitalist bust, which technically speaking is not a capitalist bust. It is a corruption exposure. So in order to end this very atypical capitalist bust, i.e. corruption, they're vainly reapplying previous solutions: hyperpartisanship, militarism, and economic ideological totalitarianism. Combine these two realizations, and it's clear that the American solution to the 2020 economic crisis is militarist in nature. Militarism against those who disagree with the mainstream. Militarism to guide the economic way out, and militarism towards the COVID-19 germ as well. As a result of the George Floyd murder, we may even add a fourth militarism, though one which will surely end after the November presidential election, and that's militarism against anti-Black racism. Why would the solution of militarism be a surprise to anyone? Removing economic from politics creates stupid politics, but also hyperpartisan. Americans today have only one solution for domestic and international failure: declare war on the other guy, even if he is a fellow citizen. This economic crisis is so bad for the already weakened West that one would think the economic debate for its solutions would have never become partisan, considering that both mainstream parties agree on Tina. What was there to argue about economically anyway? Georgia, Florida, and Texas have cities just as dense as Illinois, Michigan, California, New York, and New Jersey. But it can't be a coincidence that this latter one of blue states remain economically closed, with a severity and duration seemingly unparalleled in the world. We talked about that the other day. The Democratic ones are the ones that are the most toe up from the flow up. It is as if working with the other side, even for the good of the nation, implies risking a deadly moral contagion. It is as if doing a single thing Trump did, suggested, or supported makes one an irredeemable deplorable. It's as if losing an election this November is a bigger catastrophe in the minds of politically involved Republican and Democratic citizens than the unprecedented capitalist catastrophe based on corruption is having over 40 million unemployed people. All I can say is, LOL, you can't possibly run a nation that way. I am as political as nobody. But if unemployment was 25%, my primary motivation would not be getting credit at the polling booth. So it's an amazing proof of how undesirable the American cultural, political, economic model truly is when we observe how the reopening of their economy has become such a politically polarized issue. Again, making politics out of everything, again, built on flawed models. We talked about flawed models before here on this live as well. All right, it's not based on reality. Okay, I'm just saying. That may or may not be old news to many, but there is something which is never discussed. The seeming militarization of political partisanship. And it's predicted on confirming mainstream political discussion solely to exactly that, the alleged importance of political partisanship. Western culture proclaimed of Tina the checking out of economic textbooks and censoring time-wasting economic debate has thus given two-party political affiliations an entirely outsized place in the U.S. culture. And Tina was always going to be especially fatal for heterogeneous Western societies. In a country like Iran, which is 90% Shia, or a homogeneous and self-segregated Japan, it's perhaps not necessarily economics which can hold the title of champion of societal unification, but the very heterogeneous West economic class clearly provides the broadest base for life-saving and nation-saving unity. The West's white supremacist will sputter that it didn't used to be this way here. Who cares? It is this way now for your children, and it was only ever not this way because of massive segregation. National unification may be rejected, but not everyone wants to see the nation in response to every serious crisis. The world is falling apart, but America is falling apart the fastest. All right, in 2020, the Everything Bubble Part 2 was popped by the Great Lockdown, and a new war was declared against Corona, as if red men with tomahawks had amassed just outside the picket top fort. Americans threw themselves wholeheartedly into this battle for self-survival. Now, as the stock market has been boosted with taxpayer QE money back to pre-crisis levels, Americans are kind of throwing themselves into a battle against police brutality as well. But I'm here to tell you guys, it is a losing proposition. It's not going to end well regardless of what people do or don't do. There's nothing they can do about it. They waited too long, and now they want to act. And here's the result of all of this. Are you ready? Here's the result. Now you got LA officials working to replace the police with unarmed response teams. U.S. law enforcement could be toppled under globalist plans. Now, before we get too deep into that, just to put this out there, in the UK, their police don't carry guns. The only people that carry the guns is when they have to bring the SWAT in because there's armed resistance. But just in general, they don't carry guns. They don't. It's just what it is. But here in LA, the LAPD officers could soon be replaced by unarmed crisis response team members for nonviolent calls if some city councilors have their way. City Councilman Herb Wesson and Council President Nuri Martinez proposed the latest attack upon the LAPD, according to Fox 11 News. Today, quote, I, alongside my colleagues, will introduce a motion to replace LAPD officers with unarmed, non-law enforcement agencies who will be responsible for responding to nonviolent calls for service, Weston announced on social media. Okay, now see, that is foolhardy. That is not used in the UK model. The UK model, those are still police officers with arresting authority. They're not some unauthorized fake police. That's basically a security guard or a mall cop. All right, they don't have any arresting authority. I would only understand if they wanted to use the model that the UK is using, not if you want to use a mall cop, a rent-a-cop, someone who is not a cop, who doesn't have handcuffs, who don't have arresting authority. You're sending these people into the lion's den to get their heads blown off. And in LA too, see now that Los Angeles, man, y'all got issues. What's in y'all's water? It gotta be something in your water. It gotta be. It gotta be. What's up? They're not gonna replace the police folks. I'm sorry, they're not. They want to talk like they're going to, but they're not. I'll tell you what's gonna happen. Police will never be done away with. You'll just replace them with a different group and try to call it something else, but it still is what it is. Y'all tracking with me? The end game here is to remove local police departments and replace them with the UN. Things are going to get so bad in the United States that law enforcement will have no choice but to stand back, stand down, and let the UN come in and bring in peace. Straight up. Deal with it. Deal with it. All right, what's going on for pensions? Not too clear what's up tomorrow, the 19th. We talked about that at the top of the broadcast, my man. You missed that. So at the end of this, you live, you're going to want to go back and re-listen to that because we covered that. You got a lot of option expiration, especially on the SPX. And for the most part, net positions are long. And it's just a lot of money on the table. We're talking about massive liquidation come tomorrow. So we'll see how that moves markets and what direction that's going to be. But I did cover that at length at the beginning of the live. Yeah, so get ready. They're bugging over there in Los Angeles. Now, here's another one for you. Founder of Black Music Awards claims racism is holding Black people back from succeeding in the music industry. Clown World strikes again. The founder of MOBO, an organization that gives out awards exclusively to Black artists, is demanding the UK government address racism in the music industry, claiming that Black people are being held back. What? So Kanye King said more should have been done to support Black artists and promote Black executives to positions of influence. She has written an open letter to Culture Secretary Oliver Doden outlining her concerns and said the racial inequalities experienced by Black people could not be swept under a red carpet. So the founder of the group that deliberately excludes people because of their skin color is complaining about racism? What? I don't get that. That's weird. Okay, let's just deal with this. How about this? Let's deal with this one. You have no idea what the record industry is For her to do what she did, she has no idea what the record industry is. The record industry is a very, very satanic industry on so many levels. Do you really want to go there, young lady? And no one's keeping you from doing anything. If you want to be a recording artist, record your own music. Book your own shows. You can sell. No one's stopping you from selling your tapes out the trunk of your car. No one's stopping you from doing that. MC Hammer did it. Master P did it. Wu-Tang did it. What's stopping you from doing it? Why not? No one's stopping you from selling your wares. You can put your music on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can do whatever you want. No one's stopping you. No one is stopping you. Sorry. That don't work no more. Even underground artists are still eating. What about Mad Villain, MF Doom? He still does his own thing. All right. You can do, no one's stopping you. Now, 20, 30 years ago, that was a different issue. But now, with the way technology is and the way the world operates now, no one's stopping you from succeeding. It's nothing wrong being a B-side artist. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still make a good living and you can still do what you want to do and just control your own career. Say, I don't want a record deal. I'll do my own thing. The only deal I will get involved in, you can say, is a distribution deal, but not a recording contract. Do your own stuff. Record your own stuff. No one's stopping you. There's all types of technology and equipment. You don't need them. They need you. So, nah. I call bunk on this one. This is whack. Okay? This is whack. Sorry. This person obviously doesn't know or not really thinking this thing through. And I can talk crazy like that. I told you guys I used to rap and all of that, and I can talk crazy. I got information on that one, so I can talk a little bit more authoritatively on that particular subject. So yeah, she need to go do a YouTube search. There's people who've been giving out information on how to succeed in the industry. As a matter of fact, she needs to peep Rod Digger's website. If you want to get her math, go to you can find her on the Yadameen broadcast, her and Lord Jamal. Search it on YouTube, right? And then that can take you to their website. You can get Rod Digger's math. She has she does a seminar thing that she does. You can go to her website. You can get all the information you need. She goes into it. She goes into depth from A to Z. She breaks it all down for you. And especially this being a sister, I believe that is wrote this article. This will help her out greatly. Doesn't matter where you're located. All right. So Rod Digger, you can get her math. Type it in Google or go to YouTube. Find her on the Yadameen broadcast with Lord Jamar from Brand Nubians, and you can get in touch with her on her website and get all the information you need if that is what you're doing. You said spit some bars. My bars are ancient. My stuff is old. So I've been stopped writing. I stopped writing moons ago. I just, I started pursuing Wall Street instead. Straight up. But yeah, I had some bars. I had stuff. I had demos and all of that. I mean, once an MC, always MC. If I wanted to write something and I want to spit something, I could. That's not something you forget or forget how to do. It's like riding a bike. You don't forget how to ride a bike. Same thing with being an MC. The difference between being a rapper and being an MC. MCs care about bars. Rappers will just rap anything that someone writes for them. Big difference. But anyway, yeah. So I think she got a little bit twisted here. Sister, you need to peep Rod Digger. Seek out Rod Digger. Hit her up. All right. Here's another interesting one. Atlanta cops walk off the job in protest. Wow. All right. For people who don't understand what's going on with this law enforcement issue, You need to peep. Go to Brighteon and type in actually it's not under that. Hold on. Here you go. I dropped the link again for those that don't know. You want to do the knowledge to the whole police thing. Go ahead and hit that up. There's also this is the one video that I think incorporates and breaks everything down. But if you go to Young Pharaoh's YouTube channel, he has other content also talking about some of that stuff. There's also one on the music industry as well. So you can go ahead and you can do the math to that. Let's see what else. Oh, here's something that's really interesting too. Now, this was pretty interesting. Check this out. You know how you've been having, remember that post I showed you guys last week showing Nancy Pelosi and some of the other people on the taking a knee wearing kente cloths, which was a big slap in the face? Well, here's one. Take the knee in support of Black Lives Matter, only for Queen and wife, says UK Foreign Secretary, who thinks the gesture itself comes from the Game of Thrones. Quote, I take the knee for two people, the Queen and the Missus, when I asked her to marry me. That was a quote. Come on. So that's messed up. So I know they're showing you that these are cartoon characters. When you see people doing this, they're acting like cartoon characters. And this is some corny clown stuff right here. All right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. I'll leave it at that. All right. I'll leave it at that. All right. It's not necessarily what you think it is. All right. I'm just saying. It's something about it. When you comparing that to the Game of Thrones, what can you say? You got to, again, you know what I'm saying? We deal with truth. We deal with facts. You know what I'm saying? And the fact of the matter is, he's on to something here. I can't find an argument. I can't find anything wrong with what he's saying. It's true. It's very true. You know, all this is theater, is what it boils down to. This is theater, and it's for the people's benefit. And it's a bunch of nonsense, to be quite honest with you. But people still gonna believe what they want to believe. They're gonna do what they want to do. It doesn't matter, man. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. It doesn't. At the end of the day, people are gonna do whatever it is they want to do. I mean, come on, take me for instance. How many years have I been doing this? How many years have I been warning people, telling people, yo, please do the knowledge to this. Do what you got to do. Please help yourself. And you know what they do? They ignore it. People want to come and they want to hit you up when it's too late. They want to come to you when all hope is lost. You know what I'm saying? That's when they want to come and holler at you. You know? And I think that's foolhardy. It really is, because you're wasting time when you do that. That's time that could have been used for you getting prepared and getting your affairs in order and getting things straight. You know what I'm saying? But nah, they're not interested in that. They're not interested in that. So I don't know. I mean, some things you just really can't put aside like that. You got to deal with your stuff immediately. You don't waste time, you know what I'm saying, dealing with stuff. So I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I think the American people are being set up here. They're going to bring those UN troops on the street. I'm telling you, they're coming. They're coming. Why do you think they're demonizing the police departments now? It's a game, people. It's a game. And they've been playing this game for a minute. So don't get fooled by it, okay? Please don't get fooled by it. All right, do the knowledge to stuff, okay? All right, with that being said, That's all I got for today, people. I'm out. I'm about to bounce. I got things to do. This is beginning to be a little interesting. I'm just looking at some of these markets, how things are moving. All right. With that being said, man, PulseWaveTrading.com. We're extending our Bitcoin week more than likely. Yeah, it can never be too late for the pulse waves. You right about that. You right about that, man. You right about that. You right about that. Hey, much love to all you guys. Smash that like button. Hook a brother up, because they're really predicting a lot of things. They're trying to do a lot of stuff that is not right. They want mayhem. They want a civil war. They want a reason to bring in the military, but not the U.S. military, the UN military. They want to bring them in. All right. Please don't fall for it. Okay. Please. All right. They're really trying to get people riled up. Now they even saying that it ain't gonna be no football this year. I don't mean soccer. I mean American football. No football. Your boy Fossey is saying that football may not happen this year. Just crazy. I can't. Whatever, man. All right, y'all know what it is. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.